for us tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon and evening, this will be clearing out. And so if you do have Super Bowl errands to run, you need to pick up some chicken wings, some pizza, whatever it is you like to watch for your Super Bowl viewing, you will be able to do that without the rain and snow. It's just in the morning where it's going to be just a little bit hazardous at times. So let's start with how much you're going to get in your neighborhood. So all these areas in blue are areas where we think there could be some heavier bands of snow setting up shop. So we think 2 to 4 inches in these areas. That includes Culpeper, Orange, Harrisonburg, Manassas, DC, Andrews, La Plata, Prince George's County, most of Montgomery County, most of Loudoun County, up through Baltimore, Annapolis, and over toward the eastern shore along the eastern area. Now, south of La Plata, as you head toward Patuxent River, Salisbury, not as much snow there. There you're looking at maybe 1 to 3 inches, maybe a trace to an inch or so in even some of these areas. Down toward Tappahannock, less snow there because in these areas, the rain will change over a little bit sooner there. And then north and west of D.C. around Hagerstown, Martinsburg, Frederick, Westminster, 1 to 3 inches of snow likely in those areas. And we're talking about the heavier wet snow, not the dry, light, powdery stuff, because those temperatures are going to be right around freezing or just above. You're going to have a little bit more water within those snowflakes. So this is our disturbance actually right here, bringing some rain along the New Orleans area through Jacksonville, even north of Atlanta. A little bit of snow there in the northern edge of Georgia on radar. So this is the system that's going to be pushing our way. And here's what will happen. It's going to eventually form a low just off the coast of the Carolinas. And as it moves along the coast, it's going to strengthen and it's going to be passing south of us. And that's what will give us our chance to pick up on that snow Sunday morning. You can see by Sunday afternoon, it's moved offshore or further up along the East Coast, I should say, and it'll dump some snow around the New York area. But for us, it'll be moving out of our hair and ending as rain. Let's walk through this hour by hour. So this is Sunday at 1 o'clock in the morning. This is at 5 a.m. So you can see overnight it likely will start as rain and then some snow will begin to mix in. By 5 a.m., most of us are waking up to snow. There could be some rain and snow mixing in along southern Maryland, but most of us are getting snow and we're getting the heavier wet snow. This is at Sunday at 7 a.m. Snow across the area. It is heavy at times. And then south of D.C., there will be some snow and some rain mixing in along the eastern shore, the lower eastern shore, I should say. This is at 9 a.m. Still some snow going. 11:30 a.m. It's still snowing. And then once you get to about 12 or 1 o'clock, you're going to start to notice that transition back over to rain from most areas. And then as you get to 2:30, 3 o'clock, you'll notice this pushing further east and ending for most areas. There could be a few leftover raindrops along the eastern shore and along Ocean City, but the rest of us will be getting to clear out of this. So it's a quick hit in the morning, but it could be a potent punch, even if it is going to be quick. The National Weather Service this morning kind of upped the ante a little bit on the watches and warnings. They've now issued a winter storm warning. That's going to be Sunday from 3 a.m. to noon. And then there's a winter weather advisory for the areas in purple. That's going to go Martinsburg, Winchester, all the way through Easton and Cambridge. And that's from 3 a.m. again until noon on Sunday. So this is what we're looking at in terms of our watches and warnings. Just going to repeat this weather timeline, and then I'm going to grab my phone. I know you guys got comments and questions. I'm going to address those for you, and we'll continue to recap this as well for those of you who are joining a little bit later. All right. So just a quick recap. Today, real nice, partly cloudy into the 50s. Get outdoors and enjoy it rain and snow free. It's tonight after midnight that we begin to see rain and snow working its way into the area, especially between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. And then as you get into Sunday morning, by 5, 6 a.m., most of us are waking up to some heavy snow. You're going to see big, fat, wet snowflakes falling out of the sky in most areas. And the key time to pick up on that snow is going to be roughly 5 or 6 a.m. until about 10 a.m. Now, here's the deal. Ground temperatures will be above freezing. I mean, today we're getting into the 50s. Yesterday we were nearly at 60. So the ground temperatures will be above freezing. So a lot of that will melt as it hits the ground, as the ground is going to be a bit warmer. However, If you get one of those heavier snow bands and it's snowing really intensely, it could overcome the fact that the ground temperatures are above freezing and sort of act like its own mini refrigerator. And so some of that snow could pile up in areas. But we're thinking mostly grassy surfaces. If the roads are treated, it should begin to melt there. And then once you get past 10 a.m., you get to the noon hour and back, you start to see that transition back over to rain, and then this begins to clear up for us. Recapping how much snow we're going to get: 2 to 4 inches for everywhere in blue. That's D.C., Prince George's, Montgomery, Loudoun, Manassas, Andrews, La Plata, up to Baltimore and Annapolis, everywhere in blue. If your neighborhood is in here, this is where you're looking at picking up on the 2 to 4 inches of snow. If you get a real intense band, one isolated spot, maybe even pick up a little bit more than that. But for the most part, this is what most of us will get. 1 to 3. And towards the Cambridge, the lower eastern shore, and then around Frederick, Westminster, north and west of D.C., 1 to 3 inches there as well. So give me 1 second. Let's grab the phone, see what you all are talking about, what kind of questions you have. We'll get those answered for you. And I'm also going to go ahead and back this up for people who are just joining. Good morning. My name is Mary Marshall. I'm a meteorologist here at WSA 9. Super Bowl Sunday coming up, and we are looking at some Super Bowl snow. So the coldest Super Bowl, if you're wondering while I'm looking at this, may as well get some stuff out, was actually in 2018, where the temperature was 2 degrees at kickoff. And the warmest Super Bowl was 1973. 1973. And that was, the temperature was about 84 degrees, and that was in LA. So 2018 and then 1973 was when we had our warmest and coldest Super Bowl. This year, we are expecting temperatures to be in the 60s for kickoff time in Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl. And WSA 9 is your home, of course, of the Super Bowl. So what you may as well do is just wake up tomorrow, watch us in the morning, and just keep it here all day, because then, you know, by the time you get your pizza and buffalo wings, the game comes on. So, well, then we'll have you covered for weather and football. How about that? I think that sounds like a great idea. All right, so just trying to find your comments and your questions here so that I can get them all answered for you. In the interim, there's something else that I want to mention to you all, and I'll go back over this again for those of you who are just joining us. You do have to watch. If there is any snow to shovel, this is going to be the wet, heavier snow. And what research has showed is that that increases the risk of heart attack if you're while people are shoveling snow. In particular for people obviously who have heart issues, or for people who, let's say, you know, you don't work out as often, and then you get out there and start doing something like shoveling snow. That could increase your chances of having some heart issues there as well while you're doing that. And I only mention that again because this is the heavier wet snow. So these snowflakes with the dry powdery snow, when we're at colder temperatures, say in the 20s, they're mostly composed of air and ice crystals, right? So they're a bit lighter, a bit fluffier, but you start adding that water content in there because the temperatures are at or above freezing while it's going to be snowing tomorrow. That makes for a wetter and a heavier snowflake, and certainly heavier to shovel. So definitely want to give you guys those little pointers. So just to recap, if you're just joining, can't see your questions just yet, but 2 to 4 inches across D.C. We've got 1 to 3 south of D.C. and then north and west around Frederick, Westminster, Hagerstown. We've got 1 to 3 inches there as well. So even if I'm not able to see all of your questions right now, what I can do is I can just go and type them in. I can, reply to you that way versus just replying to you live here. So just do keep the questions coming if you have some. If not, just recapping that timeline after 1 a.m. We will start to see some rain work its way into the area. And then between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., we're going to start to see a change over to snow, and it's going to be the wetter, heavier snow. And then from 5 a.m. to about 10 a.m. is going to be the key time to pick up on that snow. After 10 a.m., we're going to gradually begin to get a transition over to rain. After 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to transition to rain, and then it's going to move further to the east and begin to move away from the area. So we're going to dry out. So if you can just hold off till about 2:30, 3:30 tomorrow afternoon, the rain and snow will be out of here. You can run your errands or do whatever it is you have to do. If it's, like I said, picking up pizza or wings, or if you're a vegetarian, picking up a nice healthy vegetable tray to watch the Super Bowl, you would be able to do that rain and snow free. But roads will still be wet, obviously, with the snow that's falling, and with temperatures coming above freezing, you're going to have some melting there as well. And we do have to watch for some refreezing with some of that melting happening on Monday morning as well. So that is what we are looking at. So just wanted to recap that for you guys and let you know what we're working with. And we're having some issues here with the Facebook, just trying to see if we can get those resolved for you before we wrap this up. But we will definitely continue to answer your questions, and Chester will likely come back on here this afternoon or this evening, I should say, when we get our. Okay, so we are still live on Facebook. All right. I was talking to my colleague here. It's Modern Technology. Obviously, we were having some issues with Facebook. I just want to welcome you guys in. I'm Mary Marshall, forecaster here at WSA 9, and we've got Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, WSA 9 is your home for Super Bowl, but we also have some snow coming as well. So if you're just joining, or if you just need a recap, let's go ahead and get you guys recapped here. So we've got 2 to 4 inches possible across D.C. from Manassas to Andrews, La Plata, all of the D.C. suburbs, Gaithersburg, Baltimore, Annapolis, anywhere within this blue strip right here is where we are anticipating a few heavier bands of snow to work their way in. And so that's where we could pick up on those 2 to 4 inches. Even a few isolated spots, maybe could pick up on a bit more than that. But for the most part, that's going to be our overall range on average is what everyone will get. Now, as you head toward southern Maryland, 1 to 3 inches possible there. Into the lower eastern shore, I should say, and then 1 to 3 inches possible north and west of D.C. This is going to be your Hagerstown, your Frederick, your Westminsters, 1 to 3 inches possible there. Here is the system that's coming our way. It hasn't quite formed yet until the low. What we're waiting on is for this to get right along the Carolina coast and become this coastal low, and then once it does that, it'll ride up the eastern seaboard and become essentially a nor'easter. You can see it now at about 3 o'clock in the morning, which is about the time when our winter storm watch starts, warning starts. That's when that low is going to be just off the coast of the Carolinas, starting to get its act together. And these type of storms, they feed off of the temperature imbalance between the land and the water. That's what kind of juices them up and gets them going. This is Saturday at 7 a.m. Here's where our low is, just to the south of us, but just close enough to give us that brush with winter weather on Sunday morning. All right, we're going to take a closer look now. This is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. At that point, it's moved a little bit further up the eastern seaboard, and it's now bringing some snow to Jersey, to New York, where they could also be dealing with some decent snow numbers out of this as well. So here's what it looks like for us. Later on tonight, after midnight, is when things get started. You're looking at some rain and then some snow and rain working its way in. 5 o'clock in the morning, most of us are waking up to wet, heavy snow. All right, those heavier snowflakes. And you're looking at some rain and snow mixing in along the eastern shore and into southern Maryland. This is at 7 a.m. Still some of these darker blue colors. That's an indication of some heavier snow, and that's what we're looking at tomorrow at 7 a.m. So around this time tomorrow morning, there'll likely still be some snow left around. 9 a.m., still some snow going. You get to 11:30 a.m., there's some snow, but at this point, we start to see that changeover happen. Remember, those temperatures are going to constantly be warming above freezing, so we're going to start to see the rain and the snow work its way in, and then once we get to about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, most areas will begin to have transitioned back over to rain. And then you get to about 3 o'clock or so in the afternoon, the system has pushed further north and east, and it has moved away from the area, and so we're going to start to dry out. So from 5 a.m., 6 a.m. till about 10 o'clock in the morning, that's going to be the key time to pick up on some snow. And then after 10 a.m., heading toward 11, 12 o'clock, you're going to start to see the transition back over to rain. After 12 o'clock, this is going to start to move to the east and push out of the area. So it's Sunday morning. The National Weather Service, they've got a winter storm warning for D.C., up through Gaithersburg, Baltimore, up through Culpeper, La Plata. It's kind of exactly where we drew our band of 2 to 4 inches. So we're kind of on the same page here. This starts Sunday at 3 a.m. It's going to go until noon. And then in the purple areas, Easton, Hagerstown, Martinsburg, that's where you actually have a winter weather advisory. So the advisory Some snow, not quite as much as what you could see in these areas. Even though these ground temperatures are going to be above freezing and most of it should begin to melt as it hits the ground, not all of it will. In some areas where you get those heavier snow bands, it could be enough to overcome the warmer ground temperatures and pile up a little bit before it eventually melts by the afternoon. All right, so recapping, today is a good day. I don't know if you have plans on getting outside, getting some fresh air. Not a bad day to do it. We're topping out right around 50 with partly cloudy skies. After midnight, again around 1 a.m., we'll start to get some rain and snow to work its way in. Sunday morning, this is going to be the critical timing to pick up on the snow. 5 or 6 a.m. up through about 10 a.m. Roads could become, the side roads that are not treated, slick and slippery. Most of the accumulation, as we mentioned, will be on the grassy surfaces. However, we're looking at the possibility of one or two places, if they get one of those intense snow bands, for it to pile up there and overcome some of those warmer ground temperatures. So recapping our snow map, 2 to 4 inches around D.C., Manassas, Andrews, Annapolis, everywhere in this blue. That includes Prince George's, through Culpeper, Orange, even down towards Charlottesville. 1 to 3 as you head toward the lower eastern shore, and then 1 to 3 north and west of D.C. around Westminster, Frederick, and Martinsburg. Now, let's see if I can pop on here and see some of your questions now. I know we've been trying to get to some of those questions. We did have a few technical difficulties. Let's see if we were able to get those resolved. Oh, I think we've got it all resolved. Hey, everybody. Anthony Hall, hello. Good morning to you. Crystal Hill, did we get that sound fix? Maya says can't hear anything. I wonder if we got that fixed for now. Hopefully we did. Okay. Michael Young, hello. Marianne McCoy, you still can't hear? Let's see. We may have to come back and do this again. No sound, no sound. All right, let me just see if let me hang on, guys. All right, because I wasn't even able to see that just a moment ago. Let's see if we can get. Talk to me, guys. Can you hear? All right, let's get back. Let me see. I can now see your comments. Before I wasn't able to see that. It is modern technology, but even the modern technology has its issues. Okay. Colestia Fields, I'm sorry you can't hear, so listen, we're having some technical difficulties. What we will do is conclude this, and I will record another weather video just for you guys, and we'll put this on there for you, and I'll just type in some of the answers to your replies. Okay, so we do apologize for those technical difficulties. We are going to end this. I know you can't hear me. I'm so sorry. Lo siento, my friends. We are going to get this fixed for you. Okay, take care. People are saying it's not live, it's Memorex. Sound 1, 2, 3. Oh.